So Chad and I got our motorcycles. They're pretty sweet. Check them out. We just picked them up, I don't know, like 5 miles, 10 miles from here.
Yep.
Pretty freaking sweet BMWs. Chad's won't start.
Because I dropped it in the first like 10 seconds that
Oh
I
yeah,
got on it.
yeah,
After I racked my
yeah,
miles really good.
and my clutch is out. So so far, it's a really good rental experience.
It's been a rough start.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Are you ready, Chad? Let's talk about the tipping over part, but before we do, let's just get down to brass tacks. These are the second bikes. These
Yes.
are a completely new set of bikes that we got a chance to ride because both of ours had problems. So Chad, like, yeah, explain the tipping part.
I have like hobbit legs, and this is an issue for me because I'm a normal sized human being. I'm 5'11" and a half, but I have like a like a 29-inch inseam. So I'm trying to get the bike off of the center stand, and in the process of like sort of hiking it, I smashed one of my testicles in an absolutely devastating fashion.
That's right. That's right. And that took a while to recover, if I recall. Well,
Oh my God.
And
I mean, it
honestly,
was sort
I
of
had
like all
never even
day.
dealt with a center stand, right? And so
Wow.
I just rocked forward, but I don't have midget legs, so. Oh wait, okay, wait, dude, this is freaking beautiful right here.
Yeah. This was a lot of fun. I wasn't really sure what to expect when we got the 1250s. I really do prefer like a smaller bike. I ride a dirt bike, most of the time, and I was intimidated by the size of the bike, especially when I tipped it over immediately in the parking lot. But they're amazing. The low center of gravity and picking it up was super easy because they don't really tip all the way over. They just kind of, like you said, they're weevil. They just wobble.
Yeah, you can just rotate them around on their engine cylinder if you want. You don't. I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
a bad idea. Yeah.
And these
So
ones had big crash bars, which you can see here. So, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
but yeah, a really amazing, just incredible bikes.
I thought so. I mean, I was coming into it. I had never really ridden the crazy dirt bikes like you, not to anything like you have, but I had a BMW R9T. I guess the key word here is had. But yeah, I had an R9T and I had the Urban GS, and I personally thought, I mean, that was a beautiful bike, great to ride, not like luxurious in any way, right? All right, well, a little bit of rain today.
Last day, Lolo Pass.
Yeah. So we's going to put our hammer pants on and see how it goes. Hey,
Oh yeah, geez.
but
Man,
anyway,
so I had a mesh jacket on at this point, and I was freezing my ass off. I was so freaking cold.
but these bikes kept me pretty warm with all the wind protection and the heated grips. No heated seats on this one, but I just don't know. Like, it'd have to be pretty damn cold for me to care about a heated seat. And you probably couldn't feel anything in your nut area anyway.
I had on like ski base layers too, so I was wearing like wool base layers and had a few different layers of clothing on underneath. So I was surprised at how comfortable I think that I used to think seeing guys ride by on these big GSs in rain gear, I think like, oh my God, that must be miserable. But I don't think it is. I think it actually is not too bad.
I had never ridden anything with the tail lever fork.
Yeah, me either. And I was really impressed with the way that there's no diving. I mean, it was just a lot of fun to ride. Felt weird when you went off road though. So for me, like so used to so used to a dirt bike front end and so much communication. That was a very strange feeling to me, and maybe is the reason why I'm not picking the not picking the 1250 for my next bike.
Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely has a little bit of a vagueness there that is absolutely made up for on the road in that it keeps the dive away and I don't know. I thought just the steering, the turning ratio was insane. I mean, you could just turn this thing around. Like even my Suron can't turn around as easily as this thing can turn around.
Yeah, yeah. I have to leave my 501 over to get it to turn around as tight as this thing. This is Lolo Pass Road. So this is kind of just going around the backside of Mount Hood. And we haven't even left the pavement yet. So there's a spot when we hit a little bit of gravel. So that's pretty far up before we start getting into it. But I guess there was a wreck up at Timberline and the highway was closed unbeknownst to us. I tried riding these power lines on my 501 and you get down there and get to some of those hillsides and it's like rocks that are roughly the size of like a soccer ball and steep. I mean, I don't think they're doing it with a pickup. I think they're going up it with an excavator. We had
Well,
to
you
turn
were
around and
riding
go back.
like down off the road.
Yeah, so we dipped down
Uh,
off the road and we are riding the zigzag that you can see there to the
oh
left.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
So I've been riding that with the 501. As a matter of fact, uh, that's where we were maybe around a closed gate when my battery went kaput. I was out where I'm not supposed to be with no cell reception.
Oh yeah,
Remember, this
yeah.
is right after the Idaho adventure. And so I'm out there and I'm going, what am I even doing with my life right now? Because that was the first ride that I took that 501 out after being in the bottom of a canyon in Idaho and hiking out all night.
Oh yeah. So you bring up an interesting and painful experience with that. I think it's worth talking about this particular trip, and for whoever the three people that watch this, um, we were kind of this was like a makeup in a way, like to prove to everybody else that we know that we can do things without almost dying. And we rented was it Evo down in Portland? They were
Yeah,
awesome. We
yeah.
rented some bikes and rode Timberline, which is why I got the hat here. And that was freaking awesome. I have a whole other video on that, but that was just awesome. Like neither of us are pro mountain bikers, but that was super fun. Plus, we pretty much had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. It was the last day of operations, so that was they closed the day after that. So it
Oh
was the
yeah, it was
last
like
day that we
40.
could
That's
have
right. It was
been.
like 40 degrees
Yeah, raining,
Fair,
40 degrees, but
Fahrenheit.
that made everything like super grippy. And normally, when people ride up there at Timberline, they complain about the dust and being washed out and stuff like that. So we didn't have any of that. We had like a nice grippy track and
Yeah. Yeah, and we got like 50 feet of air all the time, right? Did a couple of back flips and forward flips. That's usually how I ride mountain bikes.
dude, I am approaching 50 years old. It's amazing that I was up there on a mountain bike riding down the side of a mountain at all.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we didn't crash. So that was part of the thing was like, okay, you got to prove to, I guess we'll say people, but also specifically wives is important and mothers and fathers and all that stuff. But we mountain biked without crashing. And then we had these bikes for like 3-ish days that we rented from MotoQuest,
Yep.
which if you saw the beginning, in the beginning of the video, we had some issues. We mentioned these are the second bikes. Man, was that an awesome team. Like they were just like, oops, like we didn't notice. I mean, the slipping clutch is easy to miss unless you're actually like pushing on it. And ultimately, they gave us new bikes, and those guys were just amazing. I would work with them all the time.
Which, by the way, how hilarious was the mechanic who came out there and jumped on it and just ripped it up and down the street?
That's that's right.
Like
No helmet.
mullet and like mustache and
Yeah,
sunglasses,
just
no
like
helmet.
yeah. And then he goes, "Yup, clutch is slipping." Like
Here's two new bikes. Have at it.
I mean, it did sound cool when the clutch was slipping. I've never heard these boxers rev that fast, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was funky. But yeah, great place. I mean, the bikes were they've been abused like by people. I can't
They had a lot
imagine.
of place on them.
I mean, imagine all the Chads that accidentally dropped them off the kickstand, and I mean that's just one element of the damage.
I mean, just imagine the people that ride them down dirt roads and dump them pretty hard and stuff, trying to get them up and like ride them like that, like like the dude with the gold wing.
Oh, dude, that guy's awesome. Uh,
He's a
well,
maniac.
well, I mean, and the thing is, like, I've already been there. I've been that guy. Not quite that guy because I don't have his talent, but I've ridden a bike that I shouldn't have ridden on our last adventure prior to this, which is why this was a makeup because I shouldn't have taken the bike where we went. You shouldn't have taken even your bike where we went. We all went somewhere we shouldn't have gone, and we had to hike out and get rescued by some hillbillies in the night, basically. Pretty wild. I mean, that's the adventure we don't want to replicate.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that's why we did this. Was like, okay, we
Yeah.
can prove to the entire world that we can do it right. And there were no kerfuffles that we caused.
Nope. Not
None.
a one. Not a hiccup. Not a problem.
Other than
Not
you
a
dropping the bike, but I
moment.
mean, that's nothing.
We had like 750 completely trouble-free miles in 3 days.
Well, we went all over the place in the backcountry of Oregon and a little bit of Washington. Got to see Mount St. Helens. I'd love to get further up that road though, if it ever opens back up.
Yeah, I really think that we need to ride the BDR. I think we need to do the Oregon BDR. I don't think we need to do the whole thing. I think we should probably do like portions of it, do like some of the best parts, not ride the miserable parts. But some of the mid section, I think would be really, really awesome, just super fun riding. And we rode what would be part of it for some of that section in between Timothy Lake and Detroit. So we'd be riding some of that. But there's a what instead of Lolo Pass, which is on the west side of the mountain, there's another pass called Bennett Pass, which kind of goes around the right side of the mountain a little bit more as you're looking at it, and it's like cliffside, pretty intense, like but four-wheel drives ride it. So as long as you're not an idiot and you don't go off the side of the road, you're gonna be fine. But it's sketchy in like a 4x4 going up there.
Well, I mean, we're definitely not idiots, so I mean, obviously, right? It's pop can't be, but no, it was Detroit that we stopped,
That's
and
where the Moscow Moto guys were.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole freaking Moscow Moto marketing and who knows R&D or whoever it was, crew was just out there making fun of us basically on our bone stock GSs and Chad's Montel Jordan boots.
They did make fun of my shoes.
They did.
This is how we do. You're out here riding 1250s with racing boots on, and I'm like, dude, they're good shorties. I mean,
Yeah.
I jacked up my foot so bad in that motorcycle accident, 7 years ago, that whenever I go to buy any type of footwear, as much as I would really like to have those cool looking like motorcycle shoes that people wear that kind of look like Vans, I'm buying like the most protective stuff that I can find because, bro, I didn't walk for 6 months. It
Yeah.
sucks. So my shoes all have sliders on them and stuff, and they all look like race boots. And so these guys that are out there in like Danner boots and their Moscow Moto gear, like, hey, dude, nice race boots.
How you doing?
Back that way, yeah?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Hood River.
Right, that's how we, okay.
Yeah,
We
but
put in Lost Lake just to get me through Lolo.
oh yeah,
But I'm trying to get back to Timberline.
Oh.
Timberline's that way.
Oh, it's fucking closed though.
Oh.
No, I done it twice.
Oh.
It's closed right at, you guys just took a left on Lolo?
Yeah.
If you would have gone just that much further, it's fucking fatal crash. It's been closed since 5 a.m.
Oh, I see.
That's why you guys were coming this way too.
Well, we were just coming this way for fun.
Oh, how yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck yeah, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, yeah,
That was fun.
Yeah, I was like, I'm glad he's pacing.
Right. I was almost gonna pull over, but I was just like, fuck.
No, we were glad you did it
We were hoping you wouldn't pull over.
because you're being our eyes, man.
Right. There was some tight corners.
Yeah.
Pretty sure highway's that Hood River's that way.
Hood River is.
Hood River's that way.
Lake is that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Take it easy, man. Okay. So he didn't know what he was doing. He's just fucking around.
Oh, he's a fucking badass, dude. What are you talking about? He's like, fuck yeah, let's go.
I was like, sweet. This guy knows the road. We don't have to worry about blind curves. He knows exactly where to go, and he's just bombing. The only thing I'm doing is staying back a respectful distance so that he doesn't feel like I'm pushing him.
That was so good. Because then he's just like, oh, dude. I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. And I was like, what? What? Who is this guy? He deserves a raise, by the way, whoever he is. Because he was so dedicated to getting to his location that he couldn't get to because of a fatal accident. And
Well, he did actually get there because that was the way that we went down into Hood River. So he found his way down after we went up. And so we're riding up to Lost Lake here, or is this
Yeah.
already okay?
yeah. So we're riding up
That's
to
a cool spot.
Lost Lake, and that's actually where, by the way, that's where this is going to end, is Lost Lake, because that's what I had good footage of.
Okay.
But, like, this is, by this last day, you know, we'd really gotten a good feel for these bikes. The MotoQuest issues were sorted. We didn't have any problems again. They were, like, total workhorses, but we were, like, I mean, workhorses that could go faster than anything else in the canyons.
Yeah, man. I mean, you wanted to pass someone, you didn't have to gear down. It was just torque, just sixth gear, just crack it open, and you were around somebody like that. It's just a rocket, just effortless too.
It was effortless, but it still had character and just comfort though as well. Like I didn't have any complaints about my butt aching or my back aching or anything really.
No,
The windshield was good.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I like my reference point is like seat concepts. My 501. I mean, it's I'm coming home with like sore ass bones every single time I ride. So this
Yeah.
thing was like a Cadillac for me.
It was a
I
total
really,
Cadillac.
really enjoyed how comfy it was.
It was such a Cadillac, but I was surprised how much I liked it overall, especially just like the usability in every situation, and even the screen was decent.
Yeah.
I don't need like all that fancy stuff on the screen, but kind of cool that it could do it. It even did navigation, directions, at least like the arrows and things like that.
Oh, and the telemetry. The telemetry was awesome.
Oh,
Being
yeah.
able to pull the telemetry later and see like all your lean angles and stuff, even on a rental bike, that was super cool.
That was cool. And you can pull that all into any mapping app you want, but if you don't want to keep it in the BMW connected app, you can pull it into whatever your choice is, because it all exports into standardized formats. Not that anybody necessarily needs all of the telemetry, but I mean, it not just lean angle. It tells you how many times and where your ABS went. It tells you the level of stability control that kicked in places. It tells you your G forces for braking and acceleration.
Top speed.
Yeah, which of course we never.
RPM.
Yeah, that's right. I tested that to make sure it worked. At least the top RPM. There's no way I would test the top speed. I just have no desire to go that fast. But it's.
I mean, I like how it sounded. That's not necessarily something that I was expecting. I enjoyed the sound of the motor. It was fun to rev it. It was fun to make it.
It's a pleasant sound. It's not like exotic sounding, but it's pleasant.
Yeah, and I didn't expect that. I kind of figured that a parallel twin boxer was not going to have a real pleasing type of sound to it. So
Mm.
I was impressed. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, it's the worst design possible, I guess, is what a lot of folks say. But it's great for low weight or literally low
Yeah,
weight. And it's great for servicing the valves, but and changing spark plugs, but that's probably it.
that was the Forest Service we just passed. So it was a good thing that we were somewhat behaving ourselves, traveling around 25, 30 miles an hour mostly. Well, we were.
Well, and it's funny. So after this trip, I really contemplated this motorcycle, and I decided to get rid of my R9T, and I actually bought one. It's a little bit like more up spec than the rentals, but same basic deal. It does have the adjustable suspension, which, by the way, I think is unless you are going to do an aftermarket suspension, I think the adjustable is the way to go. It's just so
Yeah,
much.
so I was curious how you felt about that. Because I am like, as we've talked about a little bit before, we're thinking that my next bike, yeah, I'm going to go with the Africa Twin, and there's the electronically adjustable suspension, the ESA option, and then there's the standard option, and the standard option is a little lighter and obviously cheaper. The ESA also stands taller, so I'm trying to decide whether I think that that is going to be worth it for me and my Hobbit legs.
Hmm.
If
It's a
you're going to
good.
load it down with a lot of gear and go moto camping, which is kind of my goal for the bike, it
Hmm.
seems like that's what the ESA is best for.
Yeah. Well, and with the ESA, at least on the BMW, it can actually go lower and higher. So it has options within the default system. But I don't know about the Africa Twin. Yeah. Well, I gotta say, this was nearing the end of our trip there, and it was just freaking so awesome. It was such a fun trip.
Yeah, that was it. It was killer. I thought like the section where we rode through the ghost forest, the burn area was pretty cool. We
Yeah.
didn't see that on this video, but that was one of the cooler points of the trip for me. I like that part a lot.
Yeah. I'm wondering what our next adventure is going to be, though.
Well, I mean, I'm voting for Colorado,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. But like, what kind of riding? It sounds like dirt is really what we're after. I'm sure.
Plated single track, some
Yeah.
roads. It's going to be, more low speed stuff, not traveling long distances is going to be my guess.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this was good.